Good morning, everybody. Today I'm going to talk about, do you want what you say you want? Welcome to Coffee Rants, by the way. John Driscoll. Got my coffee and talking. You know, I'm so fired up about talking about next year right now because I think everybody's doing a lot of soul searching. And I hear this in a lot of founders, just people in general, you know, just family members. You know, people say they want something, but I don't, you know, it's like, do the actions of their life match up with what they say they want? For instance, a lot of people will say, I want a relationship, but they're not even trying to date. You know, so you see this pattern, or I want a business, but you're really not doing anything about it. So does your action match what you say you want? And I see this just a lot. And so I want to play a video with Tony Robbins, and I want to react to it a little bit and kind of talk about it. So I'm going to play this, and then I think he kind of gets to some of this in his video. So I'm going to go ahead and play it, and we can talk about it.
You got to have something that is large enough that it makes you crazy and you don't know that you can do it, but you got to know you can do it. I know it sounds ridiculous. There's got to be some part of you that turns it into a must, not a should. If it's a should, it gets done when it's easy. When it's a must, it happens no matter what. It's not about the goal, it's about who you become. The first question people go to is how.
Let me stop there because he said something really important in the beginning. He said, is it a must or a should? And this is really getting to the question that I'm talking about, which is, you know, do you really want what you say you want? Is it a must? You know, I've been to a lot of Tony stuff, and he'll say something like, you know, is it a nice to have? A lot of people think certain things in their life are a nice to have, but when you really must have something, you prioritize that thing almost above anything. You know, I'm not saying above your health or your family, but right in there, right? Like you're really prioritizing it because you must have this thing, relationship, business, some success, you know, you're after a promotion, whatever that thing is. Are you saying no to other things? This is really what it boils down to, folks. Are you saying no to things in your life because this is so important? And that's the part I just see a lot of people not doing that. And I generally in my personal relationships will not bring this up. I will not talk to you about this. Unless you invite me in, I'm not going to impose. I'm not going to say, hey, I noticed you're not really doing what you say you're doing. But that's really what you see a lot of. But if somebody will invite me in, I will talk about this and say, hey, you know, just to be honest, it just doesn't seem as though your actions match what you are saying with your mouth that you want. It's like, hey, if you don't want it, that's fine, but don't say you want it and then not do it. That's the real problem. Do realize that when you start breaking promises to yourself, that's a very slippery slope. You're starting to do things that you say that you want, you're not doing them. And so you're breaking promises to yourself. And this is a real bad precedent to set. So that's the first thing he says. Let me play more.
That's the wrong question. Watch out for the tyranny of how.
Yeah.
Tyranny. Don't start with how. It'll shut down your capacity. Start with what and why and get that so strong. Then start brainstorming. There's a million hows. Give yourself an experience that's so vivid over and over again, and all of a sudden the certainty will be there. When the certainty's there, you come up with the answer. You get really certain. I'm going to do this. We're going to make this happen.
So he talks about the tyranny of how, and man, I have so many stories on this. Getting stuck in the how. See, this is why people don't do things. So people that, you know, often the first thing is they have dreams and then their actions don't match that. And often it's because they're stuck in this how how am I going to do it? How do I get started? How do I? Right? And that will really just stop all progress. When really you've just got to start taking action. And he's right. Like, even if you're taking bad action, you're at least taking action. And one of the best actions you can do is to start to either take a course to solve the problem of the how, or, like say, oh, I want to start a YouTube channel. Well, start listening to people that talk about how to make YouTube channels. That is at least some action. Don't sit around and let that fester, because that tyranny of how will mess you up. He says, just get the what and the why straight. And I'm absolutely, the why is the motivator. Why are you even doing this? Why do you even want this? And the what, like really focusing on what's the vision of what I'm trying to create. Really get lost in that. And if you get lost in that, the how often will present itself. Now, I will say this, the easiest and fastest path to how is just getting a person to help you. That is true. The example is what I do for a living. People will come and they're tapping into 15 years, 20 years of experience. And so I know that they would have to pay a dear price to try to learn the lessons that I've learned when they're starting a new company. So they come to me and I fast track their path to how. There are a lot of people though that do that. I'm not the only one. There are a lot of people that are saying, hey, listen, you can hire me and I will fast track your path to how. So that is really just, a path to how you can actually start to answer this question. Do you want what you say you want? So, and I would just say, if you don't really want it, just stop saying you want it, because you don't. So it's better to just not say it than to continue to break this promise to yourself. But if you really want something, if you really want to start a business, if you really want to start an app company or, whatever, you want to get healthier this year, start to plan how to prioritize that step by step in all kinds of ways so that you can really have your actions match what you say you desire. That is the key, putting those things together. So this is kind of a ramble rant kind of thing, but I love Tony and I just getting pumped up right now for next year. And I hope you're doing the same. This is really, really good time to reflect because we get a little bit more time off right now. So I hope you're doing that. And, just start taking steps, guys. And please, don't break promises to yourself. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. This is Coffee Rants. Please like or subscribe, and we'll see you next time.